Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin, and welcome back to another album review. And happy Halloween, or not. I am actually not able to record and edit this video on the 31st, so that's why I'm filming it 3 days prior. But I'm still gonna upload this on the 31st because I really want to, and you'll see why in just a couple of minutes. But today, I'm going to be talking about the sixth studio album from Pink Floyd, Meddle. Alright, so this album marks the transitional period between early experimental era Floyd and their most recognizable progressive rock years. And I don't think I want to flash this light anymore, so hey, could you turn on the light so I cannot flash this light into my eyes anymore, please? Thank you. So as I said, this album is the transitional period between early experimental Floyd and their most recognizable progressive rock years. And on it, and this album also has what is probably the first actual progressive rock song that they ever wrote, which sounds like later era Floyd, and that is Echoes. But this album is actually pretty diverse. It's 6 tracks long, and there's just a lot of stuff on here to be found. And also, one more thing that I forgot to mention, I absolutely love and adore this album. I love basically every single song on here, well, except for one, but we'll get to that one. But yeah, I found the material on here to be just absolutely incredible. Not exactly wall to wall perfect, but amazing. And I basically think that this album is perfect for basically any part of the year. Spring, summer, winter, even Halloween right now. That's why I've even decided to make this my Halloween special. And also, on the day that this goes up, October 31st, that day is going to mark the 50th anniversary of the release of this album, which is amazing. And I may or may not have started this series just because of this, and also because of some other albums, because honestly, I'm just, as I said at the beginning of this series, I'm just giving myself something to do. And yeah, I'm just really happy to see this album turn 50 and actually witness it after I've become a fan of the Floyd. The best part about this album is honestly how cohesive it is and how absolutely amazingly laid down it is. It's just amazingly packed out across the board, and I absolutely love it for that. So let's go down exactly why. The opener, One of These Days, is a track where everything that could be perfect is perfect. Like, good God. I mentioned that Astronomy Domine from Piper is an absolutely great album intro and one of the greatest of all time, but this is even better. Like, oh my goodness, this is another one of the greatest openings for any Pink Floyd album ever. Like, good God, everything is perfect about this song, from the intro to the bass to the guitars to the synths to Mason's spoken line, one of these days I'm going to cut you into little pieces, to the climax right after that. Ugh, everything is absolutely amazing about this track. And what's funny is that line that Mason has said is aimed at a DJ that they absolutely hated, a radio DJ, and Mason's voice is pitched down, so he sounds like Heavy from Team Fortress 2. But as I said, and also his drumming is really amazing. I probably forgot to mention that. So yeah, One of These Days is an absolutely amazing rocker, a huge banger. I absolutely love it from front to back. Holy Christ, what an amazing tone setter for the album. Well, I don't know if I call it a tone setter, honestly. I just call it a great opener. In fact, an incredible opener. But the next few tracks aren't really all that hard rock at all. A Pillow of Winds is an uncharacteristic acoustic love song, which is actually pretty nice. It deals with wind in the nighttime and other stuff. And it's pretty nice sounding. It's very, very beautiful. I really do like that one. Meanwhile, Fearless is another great little acoustic tune. It's about overcoming fear, I suppose, but it is also aimed at a DJ that they absolutely love and adore, John Peel. So basically, this track is like the opposite to One of These Days, because One of These Days was aimed at a DJ they hated, and Fearless is basically a thank you message to John Peel for believing in the band since their very earliest days. And John Peel, being a Liverpool FC fan, is also basically shown on this song. because near the beginning of the song and in the ending, there's a field recording of Liverpool FC fans singing the club's anthem, You'll Never Walk Alone, in the home stadium of Liverpool. It doesn't really have much to do with the track, it has much to do with how John Peel believed in the band from the earliest days, and this is their thank you message to him. And yeah, it's a very nice thank you message, a nice song, and the ending is also pretty nice. And then there's Tropez, which is a nice little jazz rock song. Its lyrics deal with what it feels like to be there for a day, I suppose, and actually how it is to live in the city. And honestly, it's a very nice track, and so far the album is amazing. But then there's Sheamus. Now, Sheamus isn't exactly a bad song. It has basically the exact same kind of tone as Fearless and Saint-Tropez, but it is a very basic country blues song with no percussion, and it's about the dog of Humble Pie frontman Steve Marriott, whom this song is named after. And while Roger Waters, David Gilmour, and Richard Wright are playing their instruments, that dog, Sheamus, is howling over the music, and it's honestly pretty hilarious. People seem to call this track one of their weakest songs of all time. And I mean, I get it. It's not as funny to most people as it is to the Floyd members themselves. But honestly, I think it's pretty cute. It's not horrible or anything. It's just pretty funny and very nice, honestly. The instrumentation is pretty good, but yeah, Sheamus howling is kind of funny. And the fact that this ends side 1 of the album and is right before the side 2 track is very strange. And what exactly is that side 2 track? Well, it is the only track on side 2. And while Atom Heart Mother begins with a 23-minute track, Meddle ends with a 23-minute track. But this one is like way more well remembered. So, let's talk about Echoes. This song, as I said, is considered to be the first real progressive rock song that Pink Floyd have made. You know, they've made stuff like this in the past, but, you know, they were more psychedelic rock or experimental rock and just a bunch of random tracks stitched together, including Atom Heart Mother, probably. But this is considered to be the first real progressive rock song by them because it more or less follows the sounds of what would later become Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and possibly even Animals, but I'm not sure about that. And yeah, this track has become absolutely iconic. From its opening synth pings, to its verses and choruses, I guess you could call them, to its guitar riffs, where Roger Waters has said that Andrew Lloyd Webber ripped off those guitar riffs for the overture of the Phantom of the Opera. Dun, 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 dun. And the resemblance is absolutely perfect, but Waters decided not to sue Lloyd Webber, which is actually pretty funny. So yeah, those guitar riffs are amazing, everything about the track is amazing, and then at the 7-minute mark it sounds like it's going to end, but then it goes into a section where it's more of an improvisation section actually, where Waters and Mason keep up the beat, and that allows Gilmour and Wright to, you know, improvise on their guitars and organs a lot. It all sounds pretty amazing. And then at the 10.5-minute mark, a kind of drone starts playing, an ambient drone, and that transitions into the next section, which is the more experimental noise section of the track. And yeah, there's no percussion on this section, and it's more atonal like the beginning of the track. And Gilmour, Waters, and Wright experiment a whole lot on this track, this section, and yeah. It sounds really creepy with all its noises that are made on guitars, synthesizers, and organs, and even probably bass guitar. And then at the 14.5-minute mark, the one keyboard note is heard to, you know, rise up from the mix. And then it goes into the whole reemergence section, I guess you could call it, where once again there's a lot of bass, drum, synth, and guitar playing, and it's all pretty random, but it all sounds really epic. And then it rushes back to its main ambience, but once again with the third verse and chorus and whatever. And then there's an instrumental outro with once again the main guitars. There's also some pretty calming organ, and then the ending is basically like this choral section, which gives it a pretty wet and echoey feel, hence why it's called Echoes, probably. And yeah, that whole 14-minute instrumental section of the track is absolutely insane. The opening is great, the choruses are great, the main theme is great, everything is absolutely amazing about the track. Just like the Adam Hart Mother Suite, it does not waste a note, and it's absolutely incredible. And once again, it's hard to put into words how amazing this track is. It's hard to explain what happens in this track all the time, but you know, just go up to the internet to find it because I'm just absolutely amazed. Echoes is the definitive track of Pink Floyd's early experimental period. So yeah, that's Meddle. What an incredible album, good lord. It's amazing from start to finish. Well, except for Sheamus, but that one's still pretty good and pretty funny. But yeah, everything on this album is amazing. One of These Days is an absolutely amazing rocker that absolutely perfectly opens up the album. A Pillow of Winds is a pretty beautiful acoustic love song. Fearless is a nice track as well as Tropez with its jazz rock influence. And the absolute insanity that is the 23-minute and a half closer Echoes. Like, just everything about this album. Wow. I really cannot put into words how amazing this album is. And the fact that it probably changed me a lot. And this album is also easily replayable, like Adam Hart Mother, though even more easily, probably. Because, you know, it starts with 5 shorter tracks, and it ends with a 23-minute one. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. Meddle is an absolutely amazing album, one of Pink Floyd's best, arguably. And I'm overall feeling a solid 9 out of 10. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, and if you have any opinions, you can leave them in the comments. So, I'm wishing you all a happy Halloween, and that's pretty much it. I'm Kev from Pest, and you've just learned a bit more about music today.